Ladies and gentlemen, imagine waking up to your phone exploding with messages, DMs, and notification alerts all screaming the same three names at you. Quando Rondo, King Von, and Lil Baby. The internet swears it finally knows the truth. The streets say somebody talked too much, and the blogs are moving like somebody just hit a red panic button in hip-hop. 1 minute everything is quiet. The next minute Quando is allegedly breaking down behind closed doors after Von's mom supposedly exposed something the public was never meant to hear. Fans are shocked, rumors are flying, and everybody is asking the same dangerous question. Was this the moment that changed everything? Then out of nowhere, Lil Baby is said to have reacted, and social media went into full meltdown mode. Timelines cracked, comment sections turned into war zones, and screenshots started popping up like receipts nobody asked for, but everybody wanted. Emotions ran high, theories got darker by the minute, and the family was left divided as whispers turned into wildfire. If you were in his shoes, staring down a past you can't erase and a future you can't control, what would you do? Stay silent and let the storm eat you alive, or speak out and risk setting the whole world on fire? Today's story isn't just rap drama. It's betrayal, pain, and secrets colliding in real time. And trust me, you're not ready for what comes next. Before we go any further, make sure you like and subscribe to the channel right now, because here we don't skip the truth or soften the drama. Turn on notifications so you never miss when the next story drops. You're not just watching, you're stepping inside the story. The night it all allegedly started didn't look dramatic at first, at least not from the outside. But inside Quando's world everything was said to be collapsing at once, like walls falling in slow motion while social media watched from the other side of the glass. Sources started whispering that he hadn't slept in days, that his phone never stopped vibrating, that every refresh on his screen felt like another slap in the face. Stories began spreading that King Von's mom had finally had enough, and whatever she was sitting on for all this time, she was ready to let it fly. Not in a neat press conference, not in some clean statement typed by a lawyer, but in the most dangerous way possible, the internet way. Around midnight, a post supposedly dropped that set everything on fire. It didn't name names directly at first, it just talked about truths buried for too long, lies accepted by millions, and a son who never got justice. But fans weren't slow. They connected dots in real time, comparing old interviews, screenshots, blurry livestream clips, and every half-remembered tweet from years ago. Within minutes, the same name kept trending, being typed again and again like a digital chant, Quando. People online swore they saw his Instagram go dark. No stories. No posts. No comments. Just silence. And that silence felt louder than any diss track ever recorded. Allegedly, while the world speculated, Quando was somewhere alone, staring at his ceiling, replaying every choice that ever led him to this exact moment. The story goes that he put his phone down, picked it back up, put it down again, like the screen itself could burn him. A close voice, said to be someone from his circle, supposedly told him, "It don't even matter what's true no more, it's about what they believe." And that's when it hit him. The truth didn't matter anymore. Perception did. And right now, the internet's perception was turning into a monster bigger than he could control. Rumors claimed he kept saying the same sentence over and over like a broken record. "I never wanted it like this, I swear I didn't." But nobody was there to listen. The room was empty. The walls didn't answer back. And the internet had no mercy. Then came the next wave. Screenshots started circulating, or at least that's what fans claimed. Messages that were never verified but were reposted thousands of times, painted like facts before anyone could check them. According to the rumor mill, Von's mom allegedly hinted that someone in Quando's camp knew more than they ever admitted, that loyalty had cracks in it, and that a secret had been buried so deep it took years before rage finally dug it back up. The words that hit hardest, though, were the emotional ones. She supposedly said something along the lines of, "A mother never forgets who smiled while her child suffered." And just like that, the fandom split in two. Some people said, "She's hurting, she deserves to speak." Others shouted, "This is too much, this is dangerous." But nobody could look away. That's the cruel part of the internet. When someone bleeds emotionally, the timeline gathers like it's a sporting event. Meanwhile, back in Quando's world, everything was allegedly spiraling. One story claimed he punched a wall. Another said he threw his phone across the room. Someone even swore he had locked himself inside a car parked in the dark, not moving, not answering calls, just staring through the windshield like a man watching his own life crash in slow motion. A supposed voice in his ear, maybe a manager, maybe a friend, maybe just guilt, was telling him, "You gotta say something." But what do you say when the whole world has already decided who you are? What do you say when every word you speak gets twisted into a weapon against you? Silence was dangerous, but speaking could be worse. In moments like that, even breathing feels loud. Then came the moment fans will never forget, or at least they claim they won't. A short clip appeared out of nowhere. Grainy, shaky, dark. Allegedly showing Quando walking out of a building late at night with his hoodie pulled low, his face tense, jaw locked, eyes looking like a man who hadn't blinked in hours. No audio, just visuals. But the internet doesn't need sound. They read faces like scriptures. Comment sections filled with "he looked guilty," "nah he looked broken," "this man is hurting FR," and "karma finally pulled up." In seconds, his entire emotional state was dissected by millions of people who had never met him. That's how fame works. You don't get privacy. You get opinions. At the same time, Von's mom was rumored to be gearing up for something bigger. Something heavier. Something she'd supposedly been holding in her chest like a grenade with the pin half pulled. According to internet whispers, she told someone, "I'm done protecting feelings." And when those 4 words hit social media, fans knew what time it was. Done protecting feelings meant done protecting reputations. Done protecting feelings meant somebody's world was about to crack. People claimed she had receipts. Others said she had recordings. Some even swore she had witnesses who'd been quiet for years until now. Nobody knew what was real. But fear doesn't need facts. It only needs possibility. As the pressure built, Quando allegedly reached out to people he hadn't spoken to in years. Old friends. Old connections. Maybe even old enemies. According to the dramatic version of events spreading online, he wasn't calling to argue. He wasn't calling to threaten. He was calling to understand. "What do you hear?" he supposedly asked one person. "What are they saying about me?" And the answer hurt worse than any headline. "They think you the villain. They think you've been lying this whole time." And in that moment, the weight of millions of strangers judging you all at once becomes unbearable. The room gets smaller. The air gets heavier. And your own name starts feeling foreign in your mouth. That's when the breakdown supposedly started. Not the loud Hollywood-style one with screaming and crying on camera, but the quiet kind. The dangerous kind. The kind where a man sits alone and realizes he's losing control of his own story. Witnesses claimed he broke down in front of someone he trusted, his voice shaking as he said, "I'm tired of being the bad guy in everybody movie." That line allegedly hit hard, because it wasn't about guilt or innocence anymore. It was about exhaustion. Emotional exhaustion. Soul exhaustion. Being judged by strangers eventually eats you alive from the inside. Outside of Quando's world, the fans were busy choosing sides like it was a championship fight. Some people posted throwback videos trying to prove something. Others defended him with passion, saying nobody knew the full story and the internet was just hungry for blood. The phrase "protect black mothers" trended right next to "stop destroying black men." The contradiction was loud. The pain was louder. Two truths fighting each other in one digital space, both screaming to be heard, neither willing to back down. Then just when it felt like the chaos had reached its peak, another twist appeared out of nowhere. A post, allegedly from someone close to Von's mom, hinted that the story wasn't over. That was just the beginning, it read. The internet went insane. Beginning of what? More information? More accusations? More explosions? Every influencer, every reaction channel, every gossip page grabbed that sentence and ran with it like a headline written in fire. Meanwhile, Quando's circle supposedly went into defense mode. Calls were made. Meetings were held. Lawyers possibly mentioned. Statements allegedly drafted then deleted. You could taste the panic through the screen. And then came the moment when the world started whispering one new name into the conversation. Lil Baby. Nobody knew how he entered the picture at first. Nobody knew what side he was on. But once his name touched the timeline, everything shifted. Because when someone of that level moves, even slightly, the industry feels it. A single tweet. A vague Instagram caption. A song lyric that suddenly feels personal. That's all it takes to turn drama into wildfire. Fans believed they'd seen signs. Eyes. Emojis. Lyrics suddenly feeling too specific to be coincidence. They started speculating that he wasn't just watching, he was reacting. But at this moment in the story, Lil Baby hadn't spoken clearly yet. He hadn't dropped anything official. He hadn't gone live. He hadn't posted a direct shot. And that made it worse. Silence from someone that powerful can feel louder than yelling. It makes people fill the gaps with their own imagination. And imagination, when mixed with fandom, becomes dangerous. Some fans claimed he was standing with Vaughn's family. Others believed he was about to defend Quando. And some thought he was preparing to expose a whole different side of the industry nobody was ready to talk about. While fans speculated, Quando's collapse allegedly deepened. The idea that someone like Lil Baby might step into the situation added pressure that money couldn't fix, fame couldn't silence, and clout couldn't erase. According to the rumors, he told someone close to him, "If he speak, my whole life different." That sentence right there is the reason this story feels bigger than gossip. Because it shows fear. Not fear of the internet, but fear of consequences. Fear that one voice could reshape not just public opinion, but private reality too. As the night dragged on, fans continued refreshing their screens like addicts waiting on the next hit of drama. Everyone knew something was coming. They could feel it. The vibe on social media shifted from messy to ominous. It wasn't jokes anymore. It wasn't memes. It was tension. Real tension. The kind you feel when silence knows it's about to be broken. When secrets start sweating before they're spoken. And Quando, somewhere inside that storm, was reportedly just a man again. Not an artist. Not a headline. Not a trending topic. Just one human being caught between his past and a future nobody promised him. And just when it felt like nothing could get more intense than a mother in pain, a rapper on the edge, and millions of eyes watching like hawks. Whispers of Lil Baby's reaction grew louder, heavier, darker. People claimed his camp was moving. People claimed he was angry. People claimed he was disappointed. People claimed he was tired of staying silent. Nobody had proof. But in the world of internet drama, belief doesn't wait for evidence. The whispers about Lil Baby didn't stay whispers for long. They started to morph into full-blown theories. And theories on the internet don't walk, they run. By sunrise, fan pages were already claiming they knew what side he was on. Some swore they had inside information from someone close. Others zoomed into old photos and music videos, looking for signs that were never meant to be found. A lyric from years ago suddenly felt like a coded message. A caption that once meant nothing now felt loud. The internet had decided that silence was a statement, and now they were busy writing that statement for him. Meanwhile, Quando's circle reportedly went into crisis mode. According to the story floating around, phones were ringing non-stop, meetings were happening that nobody was allowed to talk about, and someone inside the team allegedly said, "This ain't about music anymore." And that sentence alone changed the mood. Because when it's not about music anymore, it becomes about reputation, safety, and survival. When your name gets tied to pain, especially a mother's pain, the internet doesn't forgive easily. It hunts. Quando himself was said to be unraveling. The calm before had passed. Now came the storm inside his chest. People close to him claimed he wasn't eating, wasn't sleeping, wasn't even speaking much. When he did speak, it allegedly came out broken, confused, scattered. "They don't know me," he reportedly told someone. "They only know what they think." And that's the darkest part about fame. Once the narrative escapes your hands, you can't grab it back. It grows teeth. It grows claws. And it starts biting everyone around you. Then came another alleged bombshell. Someone leaked what they claimed was a private audio note from Vaughn's mom. Nobody ever proved it was real. Nobody confirmed it. But it spread like it was carved in stone. In it, a voice that sounded emotional and exhausted was heard saying something close to, "I stayed quiet because I was tired, but silence started feeling like betrayal." Those words alone were enough to turn neutral fans into full-time warriors. People said, "Let her speak." Others said, "This is too messy." But nobody ignored it. By now, it wasn't about one person anymore. It was about loyalty. It was about grief. It was about who gets to speak and who gets to be protected. Fans started digging up old clips of Quando, analyzing how he spoke, how he moved, how he reacted to interviews from years ago, trying to find something, anything, that matched the new narrative. Every laugh was suspicious. Every pause was dangerous. And every lyric needed an explanation. His entire career was being re-examined like a crime scene. And in the middle of all this, one message supposedly shook him harder than anything else. According to a leaked source, someone sent him a simple text: "They don't want the truth, they want a villain." And that may have been the sentence that broke what little strength he had left. Then just when the internet thought they had squeezed him enough, Lil Baby finally did something. Not a full statement. Not a press release. Just one post. Short. Simple. Dangerous. A dark screen story with nothing but words that fans instantly took as a shot across the industry. The message allegedly read something like, "Loyalty ain't loud, but betrayal always is." No names. No context. No emojis. But in a moment like that, the world doesn't need explanation. Everyone immediately connected the dots the way they wanted to. Some said it was for Vaughn's family. Some said it was about Quando. Some believed it was aimed at the whole industry. But the damage was done. The silence was officially broken. Quando reportedly saw it minutes after it went up. And according to those close to him, that's when the emotional floor truly collapsed. They claimed his hands started shaking. His breathing got heavy. And he muttered a single sentence that still echoes in fan theories to this day: "Now it's different." Because when someone like Lil Baby enters the conversation, it's no longer gossip, it's power shifting. And if he was against you, even quietly, you could feel it. Fans started screenshotting the post like it was a declaration of war. Blogs ran wild with headlines. Reaction channels went live in seconds. Some people applauded him. Others warned that adding fuel to the fire would only make things worse. But nobody denied one thing. The moment Lil Baby moved, the story stopped being between dots and started turning into lines. Vaughn's mom, according to the Drama Underground, then reportedly responded in a way nobody saw coming. Instead of a rant, instead of an interview, she allegedly shared a photo. And that photo was said to be simple but heavy. A picture of her son. Smiling. Alive. Untouched by headlines. And the caption under it reportedly read, "I speak because he can't." That one line broke people. Grown men. Grown women. It didn't attack Quando. It didn't mention Lil Baby. But it hit harder than any diss ever could. Because pain doesn't need to insult. Pain just exists. At the same time, Quando was allegedly being pushed by people around him to speak out. "Say something before it's too late," they told him. But according to what's been whispered, he didn't want to talk yet. Not because he had something to hide, but because he didn't believe his words would survive the internet. "Whatever I say, they gonna twist it," he supposedly said. And maybe he was right. Because at this point, the world wasn't listening. It was judging. Then came an unexpected turn. Someone from Quando's past, somebody he hadn't spoken to in years, allegedly reached out. And this wasn't about PR. This wasn't about image. This was personal. According to the rumor, the message was simple: "You ain't evil, but you've been silent too long." And maybe that's the heaviest accusation of all. Not that you did something wrong, but that you didn't do enough to stop it. That message allegedly sat inside Quando's head like poison. Because silence sometimes feels safe, until it becomes guilt. Until it starts sounding like agreement. And the deeper he thought into it, the darker things got. According to sources, this is where the emotional breakdown stopped being quiet and started getting scary. They claimed he finally admitted that carrying years of internet judgment had eaten away at him piece by piece. He was tired. Not tired like sleep-deprived. Tired like spiritually drained. Like life itself had too much weight. Meanwhile, Lil Baby's presence over everything grew even without a single extra word. People analyzed the timing of his next moves. Who he followed. Who he unfollowed. Who he liked. Who he ignored. The internet turned into detectives with no badge but unlimited imagination. Some concluded he was done with Quando. Others believed he was standing for something bigger than a beef. And then came another alleged clue that sent fans into insanity. A lyric snippet from an unreleased track surfaced online. Just a few words. But those few words were enough for people to scream that it was directed. That it matched too well. That it wasn't coincidence. Whether it was real or not didn't even matter anymore. Because in the court of social media, emotion rules over evidence. And outrage spreads faster than truth. In Quanto that fire burned. Quando's world was reportedly getting smaller. Friends stopped calling. Opportunities started fading. People didn't want their names mentioned near his. Brands didn't want drama. Studios didn't want controversy. And when the industry backs away, you feel it in your bones. Not in your ears. Just when fans thought the situation couldn't get heavier, another rumor dropped like a grenade. Allegedly, someone close to Von's mom hinted that this wasn't even the worst part yet. The internet lost its mind. What else could be worse? What else could possibly be coming? And once you introduce that idea, people start preparing for impact emotionally even before anything happens. As the pressure mounted, people claimed Quando finally recorded something. Not a song. Not a diss. A message. A video. Raw. Real. Or at least that's what fans hoped. They speculated it would be dropped any moment. When he posts, everything changes, people typed. But until then, silence kept screaming. And while the world waited on him, he was allegedly sitting somewhere questioning how he became the villain in a story he never got to narrate. Questioning how pain, grief, and guilt could collide into one unstoppable narrative storm. And wondering if speaking now would save him, or destroy him completely. The world waited on Quando like a jury that already made up its mind but still wanted to hear the defendant speak, not for justice, but for entertainment. Rumors claimed the video he recorded wasn't polished, wasn't filtered, wasn't scripted. They said it was raw, shaky, and heavy like it had been sitting on his chest for years before it came out. And when it finally dropped, according to the story online, people weren't ready for the version of Quando they saw. Not the tough image, not the rapper persona, not the street armor. It was a tired man. Eyes red. Voice slow. Like someone who had been carrying a weight too heavy for too long. He allegedly spoke about being misunderstood, about being trapped in a narrative that didn't belong to him anymore. He didn't name anyone directly, but the pain was loud. He said something close to, "Y'all think silence means guilt, but sometimes silence is just a man trying not to drown." And that line hit the internet like a cold wave. Some people paused. Some people softened. Others didn't care. Because once people choose who you are, they rarely care who you actually say you are. Fans immediately split again. One side called the video fake tears. The other side said it was the most honest thing they'd ever seen from him. And in between those two sides sat the truth, buried and confused, like it had been from the start. Then came the unexpected twist nobody predicted. According to the rumor mill, Von's mom was said to have seen the video in silence. No post. No response. No caption. Just silence. And that silence felt different now. It didn't feel angry. It felt heavy. The kind of heavy only a grieving mother carries. Then hours later, another message appeared on her page, or at least that's how the blogs told it. A short message. No accusations. No rage. Just heartbreak in words. It read something like, "Nothing brings my son back." And in that moment, the story shifted again. The internet remembered something it had forgotten in its hunger for drama. There was a dead young man at the center of all this. Not just a rapper. Not just a headline. A son. Fans who had been beefing in comment sections suddenly went quiet. Memes slowed down. Even reaction channels didn't sound the same for a few hours. For the first time since all this started, the pain felt bigger than the gossip. Lil Baby remained silent through all of it. No second post. No clarification. Nothing. And that silence became its own kind of voice. Some said it meant disappointment. Others believed it meant respect. A few thought it meant he wanted no part in this emotional battlefield at all. But everybody agreed on one thing. His presence changed the temperature of the entire situation, even without saying a name. Behind closed doors, when the cameras stopped and the screens went dark, rumors said Quando wasn't celebrating anything. He wasn't relieved. He wasn't strong again. He was just empty. Because winning in the court of public opinion doesn't fix what the internet breaks inside you. And even if some fans believed him now, the damage had already been done. Bridges burned quietly. Trust cracked invisibly. Peace became expensive. As days passed, attention slowly drifted to new scandals like it always does. The internet moved on the way it always does. Loudly. Quickly. Without looking back. But the people inside this story, they didn't move on that easy. Von's mom still woke up without her son. Quando still woke up with the world watching him differently. And Lil Baby still moved in silence, carrying his own perspective the public might never hear. And that's the real twist in this story. There was no dramatic ending. No perfect resolution. No champion declared. Just pain in different forms. Grief for one family. Pressure for one man. Power in one silence. And an audience that got what it wanted, a story. But the people inside it got something else entirely. A scar. You see, the internet loves explosions, but it never stays to clean up the ashes. It moves on to the next fire while the people burned try to learn how to breathe again. And this drama, real or exaggerated, alleged or imagined, shows the ugliest truth about fame. When your name becomes content, your pain becomes entertainment. And right now, only one question remains. Did this situation expose truth? Or did it destroy what little piece existed? Maybe the answer depends on who you ask. Or maybe the answer doesn't exist at all. Now listen close. Because if you were Quando, watching your name get torn apart by people who never met you, what would you do? If you were a mother who lost her child, would you ever stop speaking? And if you were standing in Lil Baby's position, would you use your voice or protect your silence? Go ahead and drop your thoughts in the comments. I want to know exactly where you stand. Hit like if you felt this story. Subscribe if you understand this wasn't just drama. It was human emotion colliding with the internet. And share this with someone who thinks fame is all money and smiles, because tonight you saw the cost. This wasn't just a story. It was a warning.